happy that you're on the road to recovery. We wanted to recognize you in some way. We thought about getting you a pin that said Florham Park. It didn't go very far. And then we thought of getting you a hat, and we were afraid you'd lose it. So we did a couple of other things. Are you going to do a little video?
She's doing it.
Is that okay?
Okay. I prepared a couple of questions for the Grand Night.
So first, it's an honor meeting you. I've heard so much about you, and I'm very glad to get an opportunity to meet with you. And I think, one of the first things I'd like to ask you is just to understand, as a young man, how did you get so involved in the Florham Park Rescue Squad, and what made you want to get involved in it? And
my mom, actually, she's done it for as long as I can remember. And I always thought it was cool to just be able to go out and to help people in the community. Sure. And so I always thought it was cool because she would go out on Thursday nights, and I knew that she would go out to help people. So I decided I wanted to try that too. And once I became 16, it took a little bit to get the application. And then right at the start of my junior year for high school, I started riding for the squad. And then over the summer, I realized that I wanted to become an EMT to help, because I realized that could allow me to help more people.
Awesome.
So I took the course over the summer going into this year for my senior year, and I've been able to help a lot of people doing that, and I enjoy doing it a lot.
So have you received your certification?
I have, yes. I have my certification at the moment.
What's involved in getting your certification?
About 190 hours of classwork plus 10 hours of volunteering at a hospital. You have to pass several written tests along with tests for skills. It's a good program to go through, because you get to learn not only the I want to say the physical aspect, but along with why it happens. You learn more about medical a little bit,
awesome.
And then you can go into how to treat it.
And can you do anything that an adult EMT can do? Not an adult, but over 18.
The fact that you're 6 foot has nothing to do with
he's a
being
big
an
man.
adult.
Yes, even as an 18-year-old, I could do the same thing as a 30-year-old EMT. I have the same I still have the same basic level of training as a 30-year-old EMT. They may have some things different because the curriculum changes every couple of years, but I have the same skill set, just about the same skill set, and I can do the same thing as a 30-year-old EMT. I can't do something that a paramedic does or a nurse does, but I can do something that an EMT does within their scope.
You're about to start your college career and go down to University of Delaware. Are you looking at going into medicine, as a paramedic, or as a registered nurse or PA? What do you think?
I'm going into the engineering. I plan to do mechanical engineering as my major. I did EMT not only just to help out the squad, but just it felt as though it was something that I should learn how to do, just because being able to know what to do in an emergency situation just felt something that it just gives me more control over some things. And I feel as though that's what people go after sometimes. It's just being able to control an emergency, and I feel as though if I can learn how to help people during those cases, that I would be okay. So
that's awesome. Do you see yourself doing any volunteering when you're in school or when you come back?
Yes, I plan to stay involved with the squad. You can take a leave of absence. I plan to come back after every time I get a chance to come back from school at home. I plan to help out as much as I can. Along with the University of Delaware offers their own volunteer ambulance to help out on campus, so I was hoping to join that as well.
Dale, I hadn't heard the specific story other than that you did get sick. And was that through one of your calls, do you think that happened?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I can't be certain. I don't want to narrow it down to one person or one experience, but it just happened a week or two after being on shift. I don't want to say it's because I was riding or anything like that, but it could be, but I have no idea.
Yeah, and did it come on pretty quickly? I was just curious. If you don't want to share,
no, it's okay.
I was, because you're the first person I've talked to that has actually had it and had to go to the hospital. So I'm just interested in how it presented itself and how quickly it presented, and then how quickly were you? Did you have to go to the hospital?
So I was feeling sick. I don't want a week or two before.
Yeah.
And then so there was, I'm gonna like almost like a time period. There was 2 weeks, and then there was the week before the hospital, and then there was actually in the hospital. The 2 weeks, I just felt kind of tired after doing a couple of things. I didn't really chop it up too much of just not feeling
Yeah.
well. And then a week before, I was riding for the first aid squad, and I started feeling some back pain. And I chopped it up to I had lifted a patient the wrong way because I've had like a muscle soreness before just from doing workouts with just for sports and everything. So I chopped it up to just I lifted the wrong thing. I have a couple of sore muscles in my back. And it was running down the shoulder blade almost, the scapula, if you know what that area is, running down there across my back. And I would feel it in the lower back, and it was just across going down my spine almost. And I chopped it. It was just that. I felt as though it was soreness. And then over that week, I was riding on shift Monday, and on Tuesday I started to feel it. And that entire week I just felt pain in my back, and I chopped it up to just being muscle pain. And then it got to a point where I was just sitting in bed the entire time, and I felt as though when I would breathe, it would just hurt the muscle. And I still thought this was a muscle soreness until that Saturday night, I was in a coughing fit, and I coughed up 2 blood clots into the sink. I just coughed it up, and I saw it. And so we talked to my pediatrician. They said, go to an urgent care. And I did the urgent care on a Sunday. And they said, they did an x-ray, and I said, you have pneumonia. We're going to give you this medicine to help treat it.
Did they still not test you
They
yet?
tested me, but we had to wait for a day or 2 for the results. Yeah. And so I got tested. They told me I had pneumonia from a chest x-ray. And then they sent me off with some medicine to go pick up, and we went back home. They said, hey, let's get you in for a CT scan. That'll help us decide what else is going on, see how bad this really is. Did the CT scan, and I wasn't feeling good when I got there either. I was feeling really bad at that point. I didn't want to sit in the waiting room. I didn't want to sit anywhere. It felt like I was just tired. It was bad. And so finally I got into like the urgent care facility. I sat like on one of their little bed areas, and they just.
Which hospital were you at?
I was in the urgent care facility in the Summit Medical Group in Livingston.
Got it.
And so they did the CT scan. They gave me fluids, they did a whole bunch, I can't remember exactly what they did, but they gave me fluids finally. They didn't do that before. And they said, so you have pleural effusion, which is liquid into the pleural space. You need to be admitted to the hospital. Wow. So we talked with a family friend's nurse. They said, who worked at St. Barnabas, like, we weren't even allowed, she told us not even to like go and grab stuff at the house. She said, you need to go right now. With all these, because everything was kind of off the charts at the point. So I went to St. Barnabas. I had like a whole like little, they was like, give this to whoever you meet, and I gave it to like a whole bunch of people. They were like, okay, we see this is a problem, we're gonna put you into the emergency department. And then within the day they had me up into the pediatric ICU.
And so, as an 18-year-old, were you able to go with him?
No.
No?
Even at the medical center, being the Summit Medical Center, I had to sit in my car.
Oh my goodness.
It was grueling.
It had to be.
And then when
Were you like calling him constantly, and he's probably driving him crazy?
And my girlfriend called. She's a nurse. She's been working with COVID patients at this point in time for a long time. So dropping him off at the emergency room and having to pull away was the worst. I would say the worst couple hours of my life. So.
I can only imagine. So, and were you put on a respirator when you?
Thankfully, no, I didn't have to put
goodness.
on the worst I got for breathing was I had to put a nasal cannula within just my nostrils, pumping at 2 liters, which is like the lowest. That's the best you could hope for. Obviously, it's because it's the lowest. So that's as bad as it got really for breathing. I had that on for maybe first couple of days, going into maybe a week.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, the Knights of Columbus, one of the big missions that we stand for is charity. And we have when COVID really started hitting, a lot of us were looking and saying, what could we do to give back to our community and our parish and our membership? And so we started, talking about things, and we've done a lot, but the one thing that really stepped out was what you have been doing for your community here and the give back that you give through the Florham Park Rescue Squad, and then in turn how you know, this potentially, you know, is something that came about because of your dedication. And it fit perfectly in what our mission is of charity and with our Leave No Neighbor Behind. So we were really excited to talk about your situation. We saw the information that had been presented, but a lot of our membership actually knew your story very specifically. And I'll tell you, it was quite amazing that our members, we started not only making a donation from the Knights of Columbus, but we also decided to do some collection. And I'm very excited and to present this to you as you go off to school. And hopefully this will help a bit, and will be an opportunity for you to use it as you start your career. And it's a small thank you, honestly, for what you give back. And so just impressed at all the people that came forward to make this donation. So we'd love to present this to you.
Thank you.
And it's a really cool card. Feel free to open it. And you'll have a list also of all the people that made donations.
This is really nice. I like this.
It's really cool.
I like that.
And that's the check.
Oh my.
So you mean a lot to your community here in Florham Park. And just want to say thank you for all you've done. We're praying for you, and we're wishing you a wonderful first year in college. So make Florham Park proud. You already do, but I'm sure you're going to do it in a big way. So continue to giving back to your community. It makes a difference.
This is not too forward with everything going on, but I hope.
That will be great.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.